Hello and welcome to this first resource provided by Planet CodeBot. In this video we're going to look at how we can add remote controls to the MVP robots from LEGO Mindstorm's robot kit. Okay, now the first step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the on-screen controller. The reason I'm going to do this is because when we are adding our code, we want to be able to select the horizontal slider and the vertical slider. And we can't do this until we have selected it on the screen and put it into our code. Once we've done this, we will then be able to select those options from the side menu and we won't have any further issues. The second thing I'm going to do before we start is just make sure that I've added all of the extension blocks. Now, these are blocks that are being tested and they aren't quite perfect yet. However, we're going to be using some of these to support us just to make life a little bit easier. All right, now this coding tutorial will be split into two parts. First of all, we're going to look at introducing the movement to MVP, and then we're going to have a look at adding some animations to the intelligent hub on his back. The animations via the LED matrix, the 5x5 LED matrix, will allow us to add some simple but really effective animations that will just make MVP look a whole lot cuter than he already does. So as you can see straight away, I am just selecting one of the animations to add as a resting animation. Now you can edit the animations or you can select the stock ones, which I have done just there. Now, one of the excellent things about the extension blocks I mentioned earlier on was the fact that you have got the calibration and the remote controls for each of the 5 standard robots built in. So we don't need to do any more coding apart from this. We've selected calibrate, which tells the smart brick that we're going to be using MVP. And now we are simply putting in the buttons that will control MVP's horizontal or X and Y axis. Now earlier on we selected the vertical and the horizontal slider, which you can see me picking now, SH for the slider horizontal and SV for slider vertical. I want the horizontal to control the X axis and I want the vertical to control the Y axis. And that's done. We have now finished the control element of the program. We could run this now. However, I think adding a few animations to MVP will just be that little bit more special. So that's what we're going to do next. Now, as you can see, I'm just duplicating these blocks. Makes life a lot easier to work when you can just copy and paste rather than having to select them one after another. We're going to use 5 in total for 5 different animations. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the animations block as well, which is going to duplicate and we are going to copy and then paste it. Now I'm going to select 5 different animations for MVP to display. The first animation is just going to be a no input animation. So if we release the triggers, in this case, if we release the vertical trigger, which is going to control his forwards and backwards motion, we just want MVP to wait. The next 2 are also going to be linked to the vertical slider for our forwards and backwards motion. In this case, we're saying if the vertical slider is high, i.e. going forwards, then we want it to play this animation here, which is our forwards animation. All of these animations are built into the LEGO Mindstorm software. You can, of course, also create your own if you choose. We're now going to choose the reverse animation for when the slider is in the down position. So when we are wanting MVP to reverse. Now we're going to do the same thing again. However, we're going to do it for the horizontal slider, giving us control of left and right. Now we still have to use the low and the high commands when we are doing this. In this case, low is left and high is right. So as you can see, I've selected horizontal slider low, give us a left animation, and horizontal slider high, give us a right animation. And that's it. We are now finished. A couple of more things that we need to do before we start. First of all, we're going to have to select the link button. This will connect our computer to the hub. You can do this on a computer or a phone or an iPad. All 3 ways work incredibly well. You can also link controllers. We're just using the on-screen controller. It's definitely worthwhile doing this on a touchscreen device if you can. It's a lot easier to control, as you will see later on. So we are playing the software now, and I've just put it into stream mode rather than download mode. That gives us direct control of the robot rather than him running off a program. Now I've cut screen here so you can see what I am doing. I have got the robot, and then I've also got the on-screen controller on the computer screen to the back. And you can see it's very, very responsive. I can twist my horizontal slider left and right, and that will move my wheels. And I can also move my vertical slider up and down, and it is very, very responsive. It moves almost immediately. You may also notice on the back of MVP, you can see his LED matrix light system animating to match with the commands that we are giving him. And that is the end of the demonstration. Okay, so to summarize, what have we done? We have introduced 2 coding elements to MVP, both very, very simple. We've started off by calibrating the robot to MVP's built-in controls, and then we've selected the horizontal and vertical sliders to control him. And then we have got a couple of animations in there, 5 in total, to match up for when MVP is doing something.